Hey guys, today we're diving into something that happens to you all the time, but probably never really thought about in detail. Blushing. Imagine this. You're in a quiet room, and suddenly someone points out your embarrassing moment where you get caught off guard with unexpected attention. You feel a warm rush spreading over your cheeks, maybe even your ears, like your face just turned into a mini sunset. That heat, that red flush, what's really going on there? So, before we begin, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I do here. Oh, and while you're at it, drop your location and the local time in the comments. I'm always curious to see who's tuning in from where. Let's figure this out, and hey, drop your guesses in the comments while we go. Ready? Let's roll. You're standing under the spotlight of attention, whether it's a shy compliment or a public stumble, and suddenly your cheeks betray you with that telltale blush. This isn't just your imagination. It's a hardwired reaction from deep inside your nervous system. When you blush, tiny blood vessels called capillaries in your face dilate, letting more blood rush in and giving your skin that warm reddish glow. But why? It's not like your brain says, hey, let's look embarrassed right now. It's more like your body just can't help itself. The biological trigger lies in your autonomic nervous system, the same system that handles your fight or flight response without asking your permission. When you feel embarrassed or shy, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. This causes your heart rate to increase and your blood vessels in the face to open wide, flooding your cheeks with blood. This sudden increase in blood flow makes your skin warmer and redder, sort of like a natural spotlight that screams, hey, I'm feeling vulnerable here. Here's a quirky twist. Your face has about twice as many blood vessels as other parts of your body, which is why it's so prone to flushing. This is one reason humans can express emotion so vividly through facial color changes, a kind of biological mood ring right on your face. Scientists still argue whether this abundance of vessels evolved primarily to help regulate brain temperature or to support communication through emotional signals. Either way, it's a pretty neat adaptation. But blushing isn't just about blood vessels and nerves. It's deeply tied to your emotions and your sense of self. When you're embarrassed, it's your brain processing social cues, like knowing you've broken an unspoken rule or feeling exposed. Some researchers suggest that blushing may be a way for your brain to broadcast your inner feelings outwardly, involuntarily showing others you feel regret or shame without having to say a word. It's like your body's own honesty filter, except it's one you can't switch off no matter how much you want to. Interestingly, not everyone blushes equally. Some people have a more sensitive nervous system or more reactive capillaries, making them flush easily even at minor social stress. Ever noticed how some folks seem to turn tomato red when just asked a simple question? That's their biology talking loud and clear. Scientists are still debating whether blushing evolved as a unique human trait because of our complex social lives, or if it's a leftover from more primitive responses shared with other animals. Speaking of animals, here's a fun fact. While many animals show signs of stress or submission, actual blushing, where the skin visibly turns red, is uniquely human. That's because humans have less fur and more exposed skin on the face, making the blood flow changes visible. So your bare face is like a billboard of your emotional state, broadcasting to everyone nearby. Remember that tiny flood of blood racing through your cheeks? It's both a biological surprise and a social signal, a flashy red flag that says, I messed up or I'm feeling shy. But why does your body go through all this trouble just to turn your face red? That's where the social aspect comes in next. That warm glow on your cheeks. It's not just biology showing off. It's also nature's way of sending a message. When you blush, your body is pulling double duty. It's reacting to your emotions and broadcasting something meaningful to the people around you. You might not realize it, but blushing is one of the oldest social signals humans have, kind of like the sorry emoji of real life, without you even having to say a word. Picture this. You've just accidentally said something awkward in a group chat or tripped in front of a crowd, and your face turns crimson. That blush acts like a nonverbal apology, silently saying, hey, I didn't mean to mess up. This social function might be why humans evolved this trait in the first place. When you blush, it's as if your body is waving a little white flag, signaling remorse or honesty. Scientists have suggested this honesty signal helps build trust, because when someone blushes, it's hard to fake. No one can just turn on blushing at will, making it an involuntary cue that you're genuine. Here's a quirky bit. In some cultures, blushing is seen as downright charming or even attractive. Think about how romantic comedies use a character's blushing as a sign of innocence or sweetness. But in other places, people might try to hide or control their blush, sometimes even using makeup or cold water to calm down the face. This shows how blushing is wrapped not only in biology, but also cultural meanings. It's a little dance between nature and nurture on your skin. Social psychologists still debate exactly how blushing affects group dynamics. Some argue it serves as a peaceful gesture, diffusing tension by showing humility and submission. Others think it may work like a built-in moral compass, encouraging pro-social behavior by making you more aware of how others perceive you. One fascinating study even found that people who blush more tend to be more empathetic and socially sensitive, almost as if the blush is both a signal and a mirror reflecting your emotional radar. Of course, not every blushing moment sends the same message. Sometimes the flush appears from shyness or embarrassment, but other times it can come from excitement, anger, or even physical exertion. The tricky part is that the social meaning depends heavily on context. Blushing a romantic crush means something very different from blushing because you just got caught in a lie. So your brain and body team up to paint a complex emotional picture with just a splash of red. An unexpected twist in the science. Some researchers have proposed that blushing might have evolved as a self-conscious emotion, meaning it only appears once you develop the ability to see yourself through others' eyes. In other words, blushing is like your body's way of reacting to the social spotlight once you realize how others view you. That would explain why very young children or animals don't blush in quite the same way we do. This raises fascinating questions about how self-awareness and social emotions evolved hand in hand. So the next time you feel your cheeks heat up, remember, it's more than just a cute, awkward moment. It's your body and brain working together to navigate the tricky world of social relationships, communicating without a single word. And that bright red signal, it might just be one of the most honest things you ever do. So here you are, knowing that blushing floods your face with blood as a biological reaction, and that it acts as a social signal. Yet scientists are still debating why it exists at all. Is blushing truly an evolutionary advantage, or just a quirky accident of our complex nervous systems? That's the big question researchers are still wrestling with. One popular theory suggests blushing evolved because it serves as a kind of social glue. By signaling embarrassment or remorse, it promotes trust and cooperation among people, which is essential for a species that thrives on social bonds. Think about it. If you mess up in a tribe or community, flashing a red face might help calm tensions and show you're sincere, encouraging forgiveness rather than conflict. But some scientists wonder if this is just speculation. How do you prove an involuntary blush actually helps survival or reproduction? That's where the debate heats up. Another theory views blushing as an accidental byproduct rather than an adaptation. Maybe the intense blood flow to the face originally evolved to regulate brain temperature or to prepare the body for physical exertion, and the red face in social situations is just a side effect. In this view, blushing doesn't necessarily have a specific purpose. It's just a biological quirk that humans learn to interpret socially over time. It's like your body's version of a software glitch that somehow turned into a feature. Adding another layer, psychologists are also discussing how culture shapes blushing. In some societies, blushing might be more common because social norms place a higher value on modesty or shame, whereas in others, people might learn to suppress or mask it. This raises questions about how much of blushing is biology and how much is learned behavior. Could your environment actually change how often or intensely you blush? The answer seems to be yes, but no one's settled on how exactly. A fun but lesser-known fact. Some people suffer from a condition called erythrophobia, the fear of blushing. This condition causes a vicious cycle where the anxiety of potentially blushing actually triggers the blush itself, making social situations even more stressful. It shows how deeply intertwined blushing is with our psychology beyond just biology. And then there's the mystery of why some people hardly blush at all. Is this a genetic difference? Or does it relate to personality traits like confidence or social anxiety? Scientists haven't nailed down the full picture yet, but it's clear blushing isn't a one-size-fits-all reaction. Remember how we talked about blushing as a unique human trait because of our exposed skin? This uniqueness makes it an ideal topic for understanding the links between biology, emotion, and social behavior. The fact that you can't fake it makes blushing a rare peek into your honest feelings, a little window into your soul painted red by blood vessels. So, blushing might be part biology, part social signal, part cultural habit, and part mystery wrapped in red. Scientists still debate which parts matter most, but one thing's for sure. It's one of the most fascinating ways your body and brain communicate without a single word. You follow the red thread from biology to social signaling and all the way to the debates swirling around blushing's true purpose. What stands out is how blushing is a tiny, involuntary action packed with big meaning. It's your nervous system's fire alarm and your social self's honesty badge rolled into one. Whether it's the sudden rush of blood revealing your vulnerability or the quiet signal that you care about what others think, blushing is a uniquely human way of navigating the tricky waters of social life. What's especially interesting is how blushing links to self-awareness. It's a reminder that humans are deeply social creatures who think about how others see them, and sometimes that awareness literally colors our skin. It also nudges you to consider the complex dance between biology and culture, how something wired in your nervous system gets shaped by the world around you, by the people you grow up with, and by the rules you live by. Maybe next time you catch your own face turning red, you'll smile a little, knowing it's not just an awkward moment, but a sophisticated conversation happening on your skin. And who knows? This little splash of color might be one of the most honest signals you send all day. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Zuno's got plenty more weird and wonderful questions coming up. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you had fun, and I'll see you in the next one.